Stage Pass, always busy here. KKTC, our friends, True Country 99.9 out there too in Taos, New Mexico. And our friends at HighTideCountry.net, of course, presented by our great sponsors out there too that make it possible. And welcome to a new month. Hard to believe it's April. The calendar is flipped. Hope everybody had a great Easter out there too. And pleased to welcome in one of my favorite artists. Got a chance to learn about her before she was on this season's of NBC's The Voice. And she did a great job on there too, right there into the battle round. And my own personal favorite, she should have won the battle, but that's just, I'm not a judge. Love her for very much, and her music out there. Someone you love, the current single across all those digital platforms. Bri Fletcher to the program. Bri, how are you?
Thank you for having me. Thank you for your kind words. I'm so excited to be here.
Well, it's good to be here. Well, tell us about that. It was a great run through everything. I mean, you get the blinds. First, how did you find out when you were going to be on this season's episode of The Voice? And then looking back, kind of walk me through that process of song choice, the blinds, and up until the battle round.
Yeah, so it's a long process. I don't think a lot of people know how long you're kind of like waiting for this moment. It's a lot of anxious anticipation. So I think I found out like 6 months before I did the blind audition that I was going to do the blind audition. So had time to like think about like song options and stuff. But at the end of the day, the production has like the last call, but I did luckily land. You send in like all these songs about like your top 12 and sneak in a few extras in there. And I had just done a cover on social media of I'm With You by Avril Lavigne. So I sent them that one and was like, there's also this one. And they loved it. And it's such a special song to me. And like one of my favorite songs has been since early 2000s when it came out. So I was so honored that I got to sing that song. And sadly, they didn't show the whole audition, but I did release that song. So if people want to hear it, it's on YouTube, it's on streaming, it's on everything. And then did the blind audition, came back, did the battle, gave it my all. And unfortunately, that just wasn't the path for me, but made some really cool amazing friends and connections, and hopefully my short run was for a purpose. And I don't know, I just have to stay positive about it.
That's all you can do. Like I said, things are going to go differently for us too. God has a hand on everything out there too. I'm very spiritual when it comes down to it. Things happen for a reason. You take what experience you get, you move on to the next opportunity. And that old saying, when one door closes, another one opens out there too. It's so true. And the thing about it is you take so many good relationships and so many great friends. I saw the bond that you made with your battle partner there in the end too. How special was that friendship? Because that goes above and beyond any type of music show, any award show. That special bond is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's something I didn't expect going into it. I knew that I was going to meet really amazing people, but I didn't expect the bonds to be so strong. I made some lifelong friends, especially in Serenity. I really truly felt like a big sister to her. I was like, whatever you need, I'm here for you. Like it's so weird to like put that competition mentality in, especially when you're so close. And we had such an easy working relationship. There was never conflict. There was never tension. It was just always fun. It was always like just so amazing. And so we just wanted to do a good job. And I'm so excited for her. I can't wait to see all the amazing things that she does. And I'm a champion for her and going to be like forever now.
Well, you're no stranger to Nashville either, too. I mean, obviously, living there, too, and working with some of the great singer-songwriters, too. I got a chance to check out the Chapter 1 records you put out there back in 2022. And you've worked with some great people there. I know Jake Hoot was one of them, too, with There's Still Tomorrow and a whole bunch. Tell me a whole lot of good music on that record. Tell me about that project and just getting to work with so many great names and, of course, the people behind the scenes to produce the album. Really cool stuff on there.
Yeah, I am so proud of that project. A lot of amazing people came together, songwriters to make that happen. And a lot of my producers, Elise Elo and Justin Once, really like listened to my crazy vision. I don't feel like I specifically fit in one genre. And although I love to tell a story, which is why I feel so connected to country music, I love to experiment with like R&B melodies or pop melodies or different types of production. As long as the story is being told, I'm fine with like, pulling from different elements of production. But it was an absolute honor to work with Jake Hoot. He's amazing, nicest guy you'll ever meet. crazy, crazy voice. He came in and did that in like an hour, and I was just blown away. And I got to sing it live with him a few times, and just a huge, huge fan, and was so honored to be able to do that with him.
Talk about growing up. You mentioned that connection to a little bit of the country, and you've got your own sound out there too. We'll talk about the new single here in a little bit too as well, which is, one that Lewis Capaldi made very famous out there too, which is a great single. And you put your own personal touch on this too. Yeah. Looking back and just seeing how important collaborations are now too, but at the same time, who did you grow up listening to? I'm curious to know what artists influenced you as a musician.
So I grew up listening to a lot of Rascal Flatts. I think like radio was always a huge part of my life. I'd always have the radio on. It was always on like Texas country, whatever that was. It was hot and popular at the moment. And then like as I slowly started getting older, I was still listening to country music, but then I was listening to a little bit of punk music. Then I was listening to a little bit of pop music. But growing up, I was obsessed with Rascal Flatts. Anything they put out, I would, until the CD broke, like just on repeat.
Talk about, back to the voice there a little bit. You mentioned that exposure you gained to people watching national television, no doubt. And battle didn't turn out the way you wanted it to, but you obviously got that great friendship. But also what you learned from stepping in a studio with your coach at the time, the coach that you chose, the one that you wanted to be kind of there with, to pick up some tidbits in the music industry. And here's how some things about how to change a certain song or do some things a little bit differently when it comes to recording, stuff like that. How to do falsettos and vibratos differently, things like that, notes, the things you picked up that you'll take with you now that you've come off a platform such as that too, because that's very invaluable. It really is.
Yeah. So I was on Team Chance with Chance the Rapper. And when we met in the studio to like perfect our battle song, he was very intentional about the arrangement of the song, the emotion of the song, the dynamic of the song, which I was super excited about because that's something I'm always trying to get right, is like, how do I want the song to go? How do we want to like really push this song to the next level? And he gave us a little bit of freedom to play with the melody, which was why it's a little bit different. But he also was like making sure we were connected to the emotion and the writing of the song. And I think that's the biggest takeaway for me, is like, are people feeling what you're saying? Are they emoting with you? Do they believe you? And I think that is the biggest challenge as an artist.
Yeah, no doubt. And I love the hands-on approach that each coach has, kind of their own flavor of how to do stuff like that too, when it comes to, because they've all had success in the industry, obviously huge household names out there too. They've done it. Reba, a lot of years, Chance producing, work with some of the top artists in the business as a producer. And that's cool to get both the singer-songwriter aspect from it, from John Legend, Dan and Shay, people like that. But then to get that producer side had to be very valuable from Chance. And I really kind of see where it fits you and kind of why you chose him as your coach.
Yeah, he's a great person all around, and I am trying to get more. I've always written and sang, but I want to learn more on the producing end. Like, how can I grow my craft, and how can I get more creative and really connect with the producing side so that I can try to hear it from the listener's perspective, not just the songwriter's perspective. So it was really exciting to get that knowledge from him.
Well, before I take my first time out today, talk about this latest one out there too. I mentioned the Lewis Capaldi song, which he made huge out there, Someone You Loved on the hits. And I know for you guys, it just came out there just a few weeks ago, into March, when it came out there across all the streaming platforms. Was this something you knew kind of you connected with the song and you wanted to work on this at the same time? And what a great song that Lewis Capaldi had put out there to turn this into a big hit, no doubt.
Yes, it is one of my favorite songs ever. And one of the things that they didn't show, there's only so much airtime, but I dedicated the song to my grandpa who passed away. And I know that when Lewis wrote this song, he was also writing it obviously about a love, but about a passing as well. And so I connected to it in that realm of things. And so I really wanted to put a very emotional spin on it and do it for my papa, but also just do it because I really have grown to love that song and singing that song. And I love Lewis Capaldi. I just think he's a brilliant person. So I wanted to do it justice.
No doubt, and you sure did too as well. And of course, we're going to put a spin on some spots right now here on the show because we got to take a quick time out. David, I'll get to your question here in a little bit too. He's tuning in from England over there too. Audience over there on the backstage pass too as well. But definitely want to get a couple spots in too. But if you guys are looking out there for some jewelry, I always say the good place to go. Bri's got some bling she's showing around that neck right there too. So if you want to buy Bri sub out there too. And of course, myself or your spouse, friend, family member out there too. Jewelry by Tommy's got you covered. You can email our friends at burleysystem@yahoo.com today to order. It's handcrafted, handmade. It's Jewelry by Tommy. Coming right back, more with the Bri Fletcher off The Voice this past year. And, of course, a whole lot more. We'll be following that competition and hopefully have some more of those contestants here on the show. More to come here. It is the Backstage Pass. Stay tuned for a lot more.
Ever thought about owning your own business? Tanya Lapsley-Cockett did. She decided a little over 5 years ago that she was going to be an entrepreneur, so she started her travel business. Tanya is married and works a full-time job. Her business has given her amazing opportunities. Not only does she get to help people create memories by booking their vacations, sporting and entertainment tickets, rental cars, etc., but it has also allowed her to help other families create legacy income. The travel industry is extremely lucrative and is an $8 trillion industry. The travel industry is projected to earn in excess of $15 trillion over the next 10 years. The travel industry pays its professionals up to 70 to 80% commission on the travel that they book for themselves and their clients. As a travel business owner, Tanya books travel and teaches others how to own and operate their own travel business. She is a director in training on the marketing side of her business, where she has helped over 90 families start their own businesses. If you're interested in owning your own travel business, please contact Tanya at 917-743-1199 or at ladytlc3555@me.com.
Go behind the scenes with some of the biggest artists in music today with the Backstage Pass, powered by the sportsguyspodcast.com. Join Brandon Morrill and his co-host Kirsty Krause as they talk to rising stars and legends about their music careers. Listen to their latest tracks and learn fun facts about the men and women behind the music you love. And be sure to tune into the Backstage Pass Monday through Friday from 3:30 to 6:30, powered by the sportsguyspodcast.com. And welcome into the Backstage Pass.
The Caden Gordon Show, today's best country mix, is a 2-hour show playing independent and mainstream country music you know and love. Be sure to check it out at thecadengordonshow.com for more information on the show.
And back here with Bri Fletcher, the contestant on The Voice this past season. NBC's there, the real popular show too. And definitely, I guess they're going to have a week off now and get ready for the next round, which is knockouts. And of course, all the good stuff there too, because I want to say it's coming back April 8th on there or something like that too. But of course, back here, always fun too. And I just had you going very far in that competition. But hey, congratulations on all the great success out there. Of course, this episode also presented by our friends out there too. If you're looking for that best in country Christian music, check out my good buddy, Jonathan Bond. I met with him today over lunch, had a good lunch meeting out there, jonathanbond.com. And also you can click that link below right there. More out there too. If you need that positive, uplifting message that we all need out there for Christian country, check out my buddy Jonathan Bond presenting all the episodes from now on forth here on the Backstage Pass. Back here with our friends at KKTC True Country 99.9 and our friends out there at HighTideCountry.net, always at the SportsGuysPodcast.com. I wanted to ask you, Bri, about I'm With You, because this came out actually before Someone You Loved. Kind of dive into this for us and let us know all about this tune.
Yes, so this was the song that I got to sing for my blind audition. I've been singing it since I was like 8 years old. It's a huge like memory song for me. I just remember like singing it on the school bus all through like elementary, middle, and high school. Anytime I was having a hard time or going through something, that was like my like emotional support song. So I was honored to sing that song. I think that's probably the song that I've sang the most in my life. So it was really cool to like elevate it vocally and do Avril justice, hopefully.
Oh, you did. It really came out good. And I also got a chance to see a couple of the music videos. I actually loved the one to a song I was going to get to now with Sync, which came out here in 2024. Love the art cover. Always fascinated by where this is shot and kind of who put their own kind of, the dot I's, cross T's on it too as well. Love the art cover. Love the song too.
Thank you so much. That one's super special. I'm a huge advocate for mental health. And actually, a lot of people don't know this, but I wrote Sync about my time on The Voice because I've always had like a little bit of anxiety, but the anxious waiting really kind of made me way more anxious and way more panic attacks than normal. And so I wrote that about the kind of in between spaces of the voice. Not necessarily the experience, just like having to wait and not knowing what's going to happen and what does my future hold and what if nobody turns and like just all these thoughts that go through your head. So
we all as human, we're all human nature. We go through that on an everyday basis too, no doubt. I just love the music. We'll get back to some songs here. I wanted to ask you about the challenges that you face, including this, because I really do a lot more female interviews on this program than I do more male interviews, because I just, again, the female movement now in country music is insane with what's going on right there too at the same time. But what challenges do you face in this industry, and what do you feel like you have to overcome? Is there one thing harder than the other?
There's a lot of things I feel like that women have to overcome in country music, especially. I think just trying to push through all the names to get my name out there. And I know that it's a lot harder for women to get cuts than men. And like, there's just so many guys in the industry and they want like bro songs. And I'm just never going to be that person who writes like the most broest song ever. So I think that's probably the hardest thing, is like getting the right cuts or meeting the right people, getting in front of the right platform or whatever. So the only thing I know to do is just to be everywhere as much as possible, be on social media, be playing all these shows, and hope that that gets me in front of the right person.
No doubt about it too. We'll go across the pond there, England, over in Cumbria. David says, hey, Bri, watching from Cumbria. What songs do you enjoy singing? And I know she touched on this, but he may have missed it. Which artists have inspired your music?
Hello, David. What artist? I love singing Kelly Clarkson. I love singing Dan and Shay. I think those are two very strong vocal powerhouses, and I love to challenge myself. And those are probably the two people that I would cry. I mean, I did cry like meeting Dan and Shay, but I would cry again seeing them. It's just them and Kelly can do no wrong in my eyes. So.
No doubt. Both great judges. I thought, like I said, Dan and Shay, great job this season's episodes of what we're seeing out there too. Great coaches, and couldn't go wrong with any coaches on that too at the same time. And of course, Kelly Clarkson has impacted that show when she's asked to be a judge before too. He also was asking, do you play any instruments? I like that question. Yeah.
Yes, I do. I play guitar and piano and the handy old vocal cord.
I like that. Hey, I love this song that you put out too, and it was more of the holiday side here on this, because I'm always a Christmas person. Very festive, not so silent night, but at the same time, you really put a great spin on this one. And you may not get asked about this one a lot, but that's just me digging for a lot of the stuff we get a chance to listen to here on the show.
That was one of my favorite songs ever to do. It's just, I love a Christmas song. I love Christmas time. I don't feel like there's enough original Christmas music, so I always try to do one. And it was so much fun filming that. I literally just had a party at my house and made it the music video. It was just the best time. And I just think it's a song that makes you smile and happy, and there's never too many of those. So
no, there's not. We need all the uplifting, positive messages we can get now too as well. I also loved you got to do an acoustic version of it, and the actual track that was out there too was produced, and of course put your vocals to it. October of last year, Damage comes out. I get to hear a little bit of this one. I'm sure there's an interesting backstory to that one, right?
Yes, Damage is probably my favorite song I've ever written vocally. It's like the one I get requested every single time I do a show to play. People sing it at me. It's just one of like, I don't know how it happened, but it all came together magically. And it's just about loving somebody so much and knowing that like, oh crap, if you leave, like I'm screwed. So damn, you could do some damage.
No doubt about it too. And then I love this one too, because I always love just a connection. I just became 4 years ago, first time dad at the same time with my daughter now. But there's a connection, especially with dads and daughters. But when you put out mothers and daughters, which featured Rochelle and of course Linda on there too as well, collaborations that were great. Tell us how this came about. And I guess there's always that special connection between mothers and daughters. And I'm sure that's why this track found you too. Yeah.
So my mom and my grandma have like, they've sang my whole entire life, and I've always just been such wonderful musical people to look up to. They played the piano, so I've just been around music my whole life. And when I started writing in Nashville, I was like, wouldn't it be so cool to like sing a song with not only my mom, but also my grandma, and write about our relationship? And I think mothers and daughters get a bad rep because you go through those teenage years and you have like this angst and you're trying to figure out, and then you get to your 20s and you're like, oh my gosh, I love my mom so much. How did she put up with me? So it was just a full circle moment.
And I love it too as well. We'll take a time out here coming up. Final segment too. We'll also talk about one of my favorite songs Bri put out there called "Out of Body," which was one of her first singles she released back in April of 2023. One of the first ones I had learned about Bri from. Maybe not the first one she released, but we'll come back here. Quick time out here more with Bri Fletcher. It is the Backstage Pass. Stay tuned. A word from our sponsors that make this show possible. Stay tuned.
The Kane and Gordon Show is a 2-hour show playing the best in country music. So check it out at thecaneandgordonshow.com. Again, that is thecaneandgordonshow.com.
Ever thought about owning your own business? Tanya Lapsley-Cockett did. She decided a little over 5 years ago that she was going to be an entrepreneur, so she started her travel business. Tanya is married and works a full-time job. Her business has given her amazing opportunities. Not only does she get to help people create memories by booking their vacations, sporting and entertainment tickets, rental cars, etc., but it has also allowed her to help other families create legacy income. The travel industry is extremely lucrative and is an $8 trillion industry. The travel industry is projected to earn in excess of $15 trillion over the next 10 years. The travel industry pays its professionals up to 70 to 80% commission on the travel that they book for themselves and their clients. As a travel business owner, Tanya books travel and teaches others how to own and operate their own travel business. She is a director in training on the marketing side of her business, where she has helped over 90 families start their own businesses. If you're interested in owning your own travel business, please contact Tanya at 917-743-1199 or at ladytlc3555@me.com.
Go behind the scenes with some of the biggest artists in music today with the Backstage Pass, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. Join Brandon Morrill and his co-host Kirsty Krause as they talk to rising stars and legends about their music careers. Listen to their latest tracks and learn fun facts about the men and women behind the music you love. And be sure to tune into the Backstage Pass Monday through Friday from 3:30 to 6:30, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. And welcome into the Backstage Pass. And, of course, back here on the show, if you're looking for that perfect gift for your spouse, friend, family member, Jewelry by Tommy's got you covered. You can email our friends at burleysystem@yahoo.com today to order. It's handcrafted, handmade. It's Jewelry by Tommy. And, of course, our friend out there, too. If you're looking for that best in country Christian music, check out my good friend. I met with him today. Had a great luncheon. Our friend Jonathan Bond, jonathanbond.com. Click that link below. Grammy-nominated singer-songwriter. He actually wrote Hero for Mariah Carey back in the day, too, as well. So one of my favorite guys to work with in the music industry, our friend Jonathan Bond, bringing us here the Backstage Pass. Back here with Bri Fletcher on the show. So we got to dive into Out of Body. First of all, love this, and it really kind of had that whole experience and the storytelling and stuff like that. Great song.
Thank you so much. That one is really, really special. I think that was like the first song I wrote about mental health that wasn't sugar-coated. And like really had to push myself to be like, all right, I want to make sure that this message gets across, because I feel like a lot of people go through it and there's just not a lot of people talking about it.
Mm-hmm. And that's pretty cool. I love that too, because you're showing another true side of yourself. That's such an area, Bri, where people struggle so much, and kind of, elaborate on that a little bit, why that's so important to you. And definitely, obviously we all go through different experiences and stuff like that too, but it's amazing how people go through that. We're seeing it kind of in a ever-changing world that we live in now, and why that's so important and real close to your heart.
Yeah, life is hard right now. Life is, there's a lot going on. Everything is expensive. Everything is oversaturated. Everything's overwhelming. And so a lot of people are experiencing depression and anxiety and trying to find these like coping mechanisms that are healthy or that don't lock you into the sadness for too long. It's like, it's a lot to manage. And then I think you even add creatives on top of that, where we like want to feel everything, but we also don't want to feel it too much to where we can't get out of it. And so I think music is the perfect way for anybody who is going through that to, okay, let me sit and listen to the song. Let me feel this. Let me deal with it. Let me process it. Okay. And now I'm good. I got it out. I didn't hold it in. And so that's what I wanted that song to be for me. And it just so happened that it was like that for a lot of other people. And there's a beautiful music video with dancers who just choreographed it perfectly, what it feels like to go through that emotion. And so I feel like it was a very healing song.
You know, back to the album, I want to ask you about Chapter 1, which had 7 great songs on there too. A couple of them we talked about. But how important is it to take a song like Love Me Back that really set the tone for that record? Because with me, I mean, I listen to music every day, and I'm listening to not just one track, but everything from start to finish on a particular album. So I guess I get a feel for a little bit of everything: the music, the production, you know, just the way the songs send a message. Music is nothing but storytelling, and it's very therapeutic. How important was it to start a record, or is it to start a record with a track like a Love Me Back to set the tone for the rest of the song selection of what you want to do on that project?
I think it's so important to start with a song that you feel like really represents you. And on that album, that sound, I was like, oh, this feels perfect. This feels exactly where I'm at. In this pop country, trying to figure out this line thing. So the production, I remember the first time I heard it, I literally got goosebumps. I was like, oh, okay, this is right. This feels really right. And so I really wanted to start with that one because it just felt very authentic to me at the time.
It was, no doubt, too. I also love what you did. Back to the song Sync, I did get a chance to check out the great music video, man. They put it all on the line, too, with that one, too, because I use, like, Apple Music for subscribing to that, too, as well, to look at not just, again, songs, but, you know, what songs mean, the stories they tell, but also the music videos when they're out there. How much fun was it to just really shoot against something out there that's near and dear to your heart and shoot a music video for the song Sync?
That was so much fun, but it was also so hard. Half of it's underwater. So it's like, I didn't realize I didn't know how to like hold my breath that long or like do all these tricks. And so it was like, it took a minute for me to get in the rhythm of it. But once we got it, I was like, this is going to be so cool. And it just like, it's a perfect visual again for like when you're having like any type of anxious thought or panic attack, but you truly feel like you can't breathe. And that was the like perfect way to be like, okay, don't sink. Just figure out how to breathe. It's going to be okay.
No doubt, too. Again, the single Someone You Loved across all the streaming platforms out there, too. So what's next? I mean, you got a lot of good singles coming out, obviously taking what you've gained off the show and the voice. And I know you got some big plans to talk to everybody about the plans coming up, the goals, the aspirations for the rest of 2024.
Yes, I have. And it's like, I'm so excited about the next group of songs that are coming out. There's one coming out April 19th called Bigger in Texas. It's a true, like, tribute to my hometown. It's the most country song I've ever done, sounding wise, writing wise, and I wanted to like thank my country roots, thank my Texas roots, and there's a fun little spin lyrically on it, and I'm so excited for people to hear that and all the rest of the new songs. I'm turning 30 this year. I'm feeling a little bit so who knows what's gonna happen.
I'd love to go back to 30, Bri. I sure would, no doubt. I miss the 30s. They say were the new 40s, and the 40s they're saying are the new 30s or whatever the deal is now. But I'm missing that. It all goes by way too fast, no doubt. All right, let's have a little fun. Latest show to binge watch or series. What are you getting into?
The last show I binge watched was I'm blanking. The Valley, which is like the Vanderpump Rules spinoff, which I also binge Vanderpump Rules. I just love reality TV. I can't help it.
You're like me. Mine is wrestling when it comes to me, like the WWE and like the WrestleMania, all that stuff coming up this week too. I get to binge watch that and just have fun with it because, again, you can watch something, let your mind go, and just escape and really have a good time with that too. Favorite places, I guess. It's hard to choose just one. Nashville-wise to go dine in, eat out. What do you like to eat?
Ooh, okay, fancy. I love Yolan. Like their truffle and gnocchi is to die for. And anything else, I love bourbon steak. Those are like classics, I feel like. Bougie classics, I don't know.
Bougie kind of places, no doubt. Hey, bourbon steak does sound good. No doubt about that. Favorite flavor of ice cream and growing up, what was a cartoon that you were like, you know what, I'm tuning in on Nick Jr. or Nickelodeon? Like my kid's going through this Bluey phase right now. It's just like crazy enough, but she loves it. For you, what was the cartoon and the flavor of ice cream growing up or still is today?
Favorite flavor has always been chocolate. Sprinkle a little Reese's in there and I'm good to go. I remember watching Dexter a lot. Not the like Dexter's Laboratory, not the like serial killer one, but the cartoon one where like the Dee Dee. I remember watching that all the time.
I love that one. All right, we'll finish on this one. If Bri Fletcher was not a musician, what other career path would you have chosen?
either makeup artist because I've done that forever, or the older I get, the more I really love interior design. So like designing homes and furniture seems really fun.
I like that. I said last one, but I'm going to do one more. It's my show. I can do what I want. Looking back at it, dream stage to step on to do a live performance that you've not stepped on as of yet in your career.
I would love to play the Opry. That's like on my vision board. It's a dream goal, anything. If that ever happens, like I'll feel like I've made it.
I like that too. That's the center circle is where they say it's where it's at. No doubt about it too. Got a chance to go see some great performances there last year during a country radio seminar. I had a good time with that. And of course, always a good time. If you've never been to the Opry, make that a bucket list thing to get over there and watch today's best artists do their thing, both in country and all different genres of music too. Again, the song is Someone You Loved, out there across all those streaming platforms. Make sure you download and stream that. Check her out on social media out there too. If you missed the interview, of course, go back and check it out. Looks like it'll be out there on some of Bri's socials too as well. Give us some comments, give thoughts about the questions. And of course, we're back tomorrow with another great host of artists coming in this week too as well. Barbara Fairchild coming on, the legend in country music, and Karen Waldrop, speaking of The Voice, she's coming by this week. Karen Waldrop too here on the show for the third or fourth time. It'll be good to catch up with Karen as she gets ready for the knockout stage. Hey, congratulations on all the success, the experience on The Voice. One of the names I'll be keeping a close eye on over the next few weeks to months to years. Best of luck in your career, and I would love to catch up again when this single comes out, and thanks so much for being with us.
Oh, thank you so much. It's been an honor.
Bri Fletcher out there, Someone You Loved, across all those streaming platforms. We're back tomorrow here on the Backstage Pass. Thanks to our friend Jonathan Bond, and of course all the great sponsors out there too that make the program possible. HighTideCountry.net, our friends at KKTC True Country 99.9, and of course the Sports Guys Podcast.com. We'll see you soon.